Peace, peace. Let's get into it. Welcome to another episode, Focus Collective Sessions. I'm Trav. If you're new here, and if you're returning, welcome back. As we grow, you will grow. You can't go through what you can't grow through. So we're here to do that together on a collective basis. And today we're talking about the words the words. We are in a society of culture that talks about speaking things into existence. And most of us has heard that phrase before, especially in the last, 5 or so years. We talk about speak it into the universe, speak it into the atmosphere, uh, um, put it out in the air. All of that words. This is all similar. And we're going to break down how language creates the world that you live in. Because there is a direct correlation. There is a direct correlation. And I'm gonna bring up my notes here. I'm not sure why they are not up, but this is going to be a powerful build because this is the door. This is the door to the world that we desire. This is the door. This We have a vision, right? And there's a quote that I remember, and it's the quote is if you can see it in your head, you can hold it in your hand. And that's true. There's a caveat to that. You need the language to go with it. How many of us had something in our head and we couldn't articulate it? So we couldn't bring it up. We couldn't bring it to the forefront. We couldn't materialize or objectify what we wanted to articulate just because we didn't have the words for it. It's the same thing. You have to have the words to materialize whatever you want. It's not so easy as to say, I see a lot on social media saying that you're going to receive that house next year. Get ready for it. Or I'm manifesting this, that, and the third. Or I'm going to be a millionaire. See, that's the reason why language is important, because going to and saying that I will be is a distance point. Going to be or going to is a distance point. About to is a distance point. These words create separation. And when it comes to changing your reality, we need to understand that there cannot be separation between you and your vision. It needs to, in order to build, to materialize, you need to be on site. Who in construction that was able to build a house without being on site? All of the materials are on site. Your body needs to be on site to build this house. It's the same thing. So what I wanted to do was first mention that you need to know what about your words on a daily basis are creating separation points or distance points between you and the life that you want, or you and an ideal situation. There is 100% something about the way that you speak every single day because you affirm it. Is there's something that you are affirming that is keeping the separation between you and that vision. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring up a video here. Let me bring this here. And then I'm going to share my screen one time real quick. And so we're gonna watch a rapper and rapper named Daylight. A lot of you may have heard of him. If you have not heard of Daylight, he's a battle rapper, but he's a conscious rapper. He's very, very conscious of the things that's going on around him. And as I think is, I don't know the background behind it, but I think he got a face tattoo to prove that he can be successful with a certain look about him that the general public say that shouldn't be successful. So he has like an X like in the middle of his face, and I think that that's a valuable lesson. I know that's him, that's something that he has to deal with, but for people who would judge him and be like, why did he get that tattoo on his face? Like, why did he think that it was a good idea? It was a sign for me. To me, it's a sign that this world is not so cut and dry. The rules of this world are not what we were taught. The rules of this world to progress, to climb the ladder of life, is not so fixed. There are ways up if you first of all study and you be more cognizant of what's around you. So I'm going to bring this up real quick for us. Let's see. Let's see. And then we're going to go share screen. We're going to bring it here. I'm gonna stop right there. So we're gonna talk about that. You know what I'm saying? So first off, what he said was 100%. And for anybody who's been to church, go to church, or has any type of background in church, whether you know whatever religion, it not just Christianity, because it's in all the sacred texts about how much words weigh. Namely, the Bible say the power of life and death is in the tongue. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Study it for yourself. But before we get to the brain and gut connection here, I'm going to tell you a little bit about why it happens from a ancient perspective. So I'm going to go into the ancient sciences about why words matter. So physics say that there are 11 dimensions that's just smushed on top of each other. There are 11 dimensions smushed into this, like here. That's a different conversations. Follow me. So, but there is space in between thoughts, words, actions, and the three-dimensional feedback mechanism called perception of reality. There's space. So the space between thought, language, and reality, that space was called the primordial waters, or the some ancient people like the Dogon say the primordial waters of Nun, or Nun, Nun, I believe. That space literally is like water. It's almost like when you have anybody thrown a pebble into a space of water, and you see the little ripples come in. That's what happens. So when you speak, the space ripples. You can't see it because it's on a microscopic level. Science is literally proving this. So when you say I can't, I'm going to, that means you're always going to chase it. I will do something. That means you're chasing something. You're not attracting it. So that means it's moving away from you. So that we have to be conscious about a lot of the words that we bring into our reality is just because that our reality will mirror. It's that ripple. So when that ripple from the primordial waters touch the reality of your words, it will send it back to you. It will return to sender. And so when that ripple effect goes out, it touches the edges of those dimensions and it comes back. And that's the feedback mechanism that you have. So when you say, I feel so alone, or not feel so alone, I am alone, or that's an action word for identity. That action, that actualize your identity. When you say that I can't do something, that literally cuts your attachment to whatever that thing on the other side of what you said. When you say you don't have something, that cuts your knowledge from accumulating it. That does not say, when I say, when you tell me that you don't have money, not only does that tell me that you don't want money, that tells me that you don't have the knowledge to get money, because that don't. If you look at the number D, or the letter D, I'm sorry, number D. Whoa. If you look at the letter D, both capital and lowercase, you see that it's a half circle. With the lowercase d, you have a line with the half circle on one side. Hold that in your mind real quick. If you can't hold, if you have problem with creating visuals in your head, bring it up on Google real quick. Look at it. That's a half circle. I've said time and time again, and I'll talk about it. I'm gonna touch on it. Let me know if you want me to touch on this. But knowledge is 360 degrees. Knowledge is a full circle. So when you say I don't have, you're cutting yourself, you're cutting the knowledge away from accumulating that thing. So when you want to say I don't, make sure that you're very aware of what the rest of that sentence is gonna look like. But because you're decapitating the acquisition of knowledge on whatever's on the other side of that sentence. So when you say you don't have this, you don't have this, you don't have that, you know, you don't do this, you don't do that. So the don't is it's a retardant for knowledge on whatever the subject is. Because if we look at that D, we see that we've been cut from 360 degrees of knowledge. Why knowledge is 360 degrees? Is because the universe is scale invariant, which means that knowledge builds on itself based off of points of reference. That's why everything, comes full circle. You have these full circle moments and you learn by association. But if you want me to break that down, I'll be more than happy to. Just let me know. Let me know, like, Trav, hey, I like that, but I want you to expand on that a little bit more. I'm more than happy. But if it sounds like too much of a concept, then I get it, because it takes a minute to digest that concept. But anyway, saying don't. Do not say don't unless it's something that you truly don't want to be a part of. Because don't, that ripple effect, is sending out a message via wavelength that you want to disconnect from the knowledge associated with that thing. So that was one point, the primordial waters. Be cognizant of what that pebble of language you're dropping in the primordial waters, because it comes back to you in your reality. Saying if you want to work out in the morning and you saying you don't want to get up, you're going to feel the effects of the knowledge that's required to have the discipline to get you up early in the morning to work out. If you say you can't get up in the morning, best believe you're going to be cut off from the will and desire to overcome that obstacle of the grogginess in the morning. Listen, your body's listening to you, and that body gets the message based off of what you're sending out. Your body's listening. So the next point So Daylight touched on, before I cut it off, he said, look at the brain and look at your intestines, like your gut. The organs associated with your gastrointestinal system tract, or your tract, your GI tract. Your brain looks a lot like that. Why? Let's pull it up. No, y'all can't see that. Hang on. There we go. So this is from the horse's mouth. When it comes to medicine, if you know me, I don't like this horse. Anyway, the interaction between the brain and the digestive system. When food enters the mouth and passes through the digestive system, it sends a multitude of interacting signals to the brain, loaded with sensory, nutritive, and other information. In the first session of the workshop, moderated by Danielle Greenberg of PepsiCo, participants discuss how those signals are triggered and how the feedback they provide to the brain impacts further food intake. Workshop participants also considered how higher cognitive functions in the brain, as well as developmental, familial, and environmental factors, influence the complex signaling and feedback system. This chapter summarizes and presents a discussion of this session, key points from which are highlighted in box 2.1. So this goes and starts to break down the GI tract and the functions of the GI system. The gut peptide system. So the peptides are the bacteria in your gut that breaks down the materials in your stomach the nutrients can be dispersed properly and the waste can be separated from that. Those are peptides. So basically, I'm not going to read all this, but from this article, it's breaking down literally everything. The tastes. I'm reminding you, knowledge is 360 degrees. So when you taste something, the information associated with whatever's in your mouth starts with something that you can reference. So like, what does it taste like, right? And if you have no point of reference, then you're stuck. Oh, I can't compare it to anything. So this is full circle, right? Going with what I was saying before. So everything with your GI tract in the process of digestion is associated with thought. Why does this matter? Why? You got to watch what you eat. Because there are a lot of dis-ease in the body. There's dis-ease in the body that's associated with diet. Your relationship with food. There are numerous studies that talk about the relationship that you have with food and cognitive brain function. If you cannot discipline yourself and eat the foods that feed your brain, of course, it's going to be a negative feedback loop on the things that you can think about. The lack of opportunity that you see is going to be coupled with the language that you use. The language that you use will build a prison in your mind, and the prison in your mind is going to hinder the opportunity to expand your language, to create opportunity. And it's going to be a vicious cycle. It's a whirlwind of issues. It's not just one. It's not just, oh, I'm broke. It's not just, oh, my job don't pay enough. It's not just the situation I got going on with my girlfriend. It's not just the situation I got going on with my boyfriend. It's not just my parents not listening to me. It's not just, all these stuff going on. It's all interconnected into your mind being a prison based off of you put your mind in a prison based off the feedback you get from your reality. And the feedback is from your reality is a direct correlation from your restricted language. So now we're going on to the brain consumption. So what mind food are you eating? And so I don't think I didn't give Daylight a chance to mention it, but he said the mouth of the brain is the ears. Think about that. The mouth of the brain is the ears. What are you allowing into your ears? What are you affirming from what you are listening to? Not just music. Music is a huge fact because we can talk all day about music. But what are the things that you're listening to, absolutely listening to, and you're accepting as a part of your reality? I'm going to go back to music. The very basic thing in music is the head nod. When you grooving, many of us got a beat in our head or a song in our head to this motion right here, not knowing that you're really affirming the lyrics. And you're like, I'm willing to accept this as a part of my reality. I'm willing to accept the words being played in my ears as real. If you accept the picture being painted as something that you accept in your life, that has a huge possibility to hinder not only the language, but the way that you see the things around you based off of the music that you was listening to. That's also a Bible scripture. Not going into that. Anyway, what are you guarding when people talk to you about certain things? How many people, raise your hand if you can be honest. If not, just do like that. But how many of you got a family member or a friend that love to gossip? Oh, are you that person that love to gossip? So are you accepting gossip as something acceptable to affirm to that other person that it's okay to do this? And before you get defensive, there are other ways to validate the person that's gossiping, helping them feel heard. And also, you cannot accept what they're saying as an okay conversation. There's a way to do that. If you want to know, let me know. We can have that discussion. But I want to stay on topic on this because these are important points to hit to really meditate on, because I really want to drive these home, because these are main points of things that the habits that we have, and the unconscious things that we do on a daily basis that we're a part of and we don't really think about. So affirming the gossip, or how many people have a friend that's always being negative? Are you affirming their words, accepting their reality as being a part of yours too? You can make them feel heard without accepting their perception of reality as a part of yours as well. Also, speaking of friends and people around you, how does your vocabulary change around people? We talk about, the proper way to speak, and for us black folks, we talk about talking white. You know what I'm saying? We know what that means. It's a dumb concept, but whatever. Um, how does your language change around people? Does your vocabulary restrict around certain people, especially when you go back to the hood or your friends or your family? Is your vocabulary you're restricted to certain words that don't serve who you want to be? Think about that. And if so, you need to either kick those friends to the curb, cut them people off, or make sure that you don't compromise yourself in the presence of these people. Because that's really what's going on. You compromise the integrity of who you want to be for the sake of the company. That's detrimental to your growth, because everybody that you spend your time around should be feeding your growth at some point. In some area, should be feeding your growth. I can hear somebody saying, man, it ain't that deep. Sometimes I got somebody that's really, they not really up there with, having a vision and stuff like that, but they make good company. That's fine. But if you compromise yourself, they can't see somebody in their realm that's growing, because you might be called to be the mentor to that friend. You might be the witness to growth and development that they need to see. They can't see it out of somebody else but you. Maybe you're the biggest influence to that person, and you making your vocabulary smaller to fit the company of that person is hindering their growth too. Think about that. You are only in prison by not having the proper words to get yourself out of the prison. So what words do I need to use to fix my current condition? I'm going to give you one. Next one going to cost you. I'm going to give you one. How? How can I? Instead of saying I can't, I don't have it, that ain't for me, or I ain't got it. How can I get there? I'm figuring out what the process is. I'm currently in this process to accumulating this. Those are power words, and that's feeding the sequence of events after the fact to line you up and lead you up into the rooms that you need to be in, the doors you need to be in front of, and the people that you need to meet. How? Not why, but how. Now, not I don't, but how. That how opens you up to the information. That how opens you up to the people. That how opens you up to the networks. That how opens you up to the doors that needs to be open to get into these spaces. That how makes space. So I didn't want to keep you long here, but these are quick points. The power of your words. Be conscious that these words are splashing in waters that you cannot see. Be careful what you're consuming physically. What foods are you eating that aren't giving you the right signals to your brain? Watch that sugar content, that salt content, that fat content. And then the content coming in here. Of course, the music, but the people that you're surrounded by, watch what they're saying around you and guard the information. Gatekeep the information that you're internalizing. I'm not saying don't listen to them, but gatekeep the information that you will internalize. You don't have to internalize everything that you hear. That alone is a discipline. And watch your vocabulary around everybody that you spend your time with. Because if you're diminishing your vocabulary, you're diminishing your character and the person that you want to grow into. And that's the time that I have today. This is Trav with Focus Collective. And thank you for watching Focus Collective sessions. We got another one in the books. And then in the next few episodes, we're going to have some guests, some close friends of mine, some family. We're going to dive deep into certain topics that's going to be just as important as this one. But I wanted to get this one out the way because this is going to set the stage for what we got to come. So if you didn't, run this back, take notes, and share it with somebody. Peace.